My name's Jane Pearson. It's Thursday and I'm wearing blue. I want to talk to you today about Chesed, which is the fourth sphere on the tree of life. The virtue of this sphere is obedience, and the image is of a king on his throne. If you've ever seen a child's image of God as Yahweh, then you've probably seen a picture of what this vision is supposed to be. The white-haired and bearded man, very clearly a man, sitting on a throne with all of his power. Of course, that is the vision that comes with the gift of obedience. Just listen to me, he says. And Paul Foster Case, I believe, puts some of that sense of the Hierophant moving from Chokmah to Chesed, because obedience is obedience to the Hierophant, whatever your religious tradition is. That sense of listen to me, I know best, is well embodied here in Chesed. But it will tell you it's very important to think about what are the vices that must be avoided when we have that obedience. And the first one is hypocrisy, because so easily when people are obedient to us or we're extolling the virtue of obedience, are we at risk for being a hypocrite in what we say others should do. Ironically, it's not the only vice, and it's odd to have three different vices present in one sphere. And it speaks to how much obedience as a virtue puts us at risk for a host of vices. The second vice that you often see in this sphere is gluttony. Because if I am sitting on my throne and you are doing what I tell you to do, it is very easy to become greedy. You see that sense of gluttony in the fours of all of the suits, although most strongly in the pentacles, which represent money. In the Four of Wands, that gluttony is a little bit more like indulgence and celebration, which isn't an unending gluttony, but a gluttony for the night as you celebrate a wedding feast. But with the Four of Pentacles, and here when we twist Chesed and our power of God on his throne, we are at risk of being greedy, of indulging the body. And certainly, if there's any day not to start a diet, it would be on a Thursday. Gluttony is the vice, and expansion is one of the primary gifts that Jupiter brings us all. If we think of that king on his throne, one of the things that it is also at risk, not just for those being obeyed, but for those obeying, is bigotry. Because the king on his throne says, I know what's best for you. Follow my straight, clear path. But very much, he says, there is no other way but mine. And so as we think of what it means to be on the pillar of mercy, the pillar of the male side of the tree, and quite honestly, the right-hand path, we have the phrase, thy will be done, that we say to God, to our own fathers, to the supernal Father, to a church or government. Thy will be done. If I just follow the rules, this benevolent dictator, be he Yahweh watching us all, or Santa Claus who sees everything you do, he will reward me. And yet, it reminds us that even in obedience, we cannot forsake our own obligation to not indulge in bigotry or gluttony, to not take too much as we hold that power, and not to exclude others who have a righteous path just because it's not ours. So I love those warnings for power, almost as if you can see how when the Roman Empire was at its largest, and Jupiter was the king of the gods being worshipped everywhere, there was a voice that was echoing, beware as you seek obedience that you are not a hypocrite. Beware that as you spread the Pax Romana, you are not being a bigot about those other cultures you are conquering. Be sure you take what's good from them. And finally, do not so indulge yourself in the gluttony of the body that you forget what that true power is. So dance with those virtues and vices. Today, be generous, because that is what that authority on its throne is best embodied in us. You be obedient, and be obedient to that higher calling, to the order that the world presents to you, rather than asking others to be obedient to you. For more information, find my website, tarotjane.com, or find me on Facebook, Tarot Jane, or Traveling the Tree with Jane Pierce.